Love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love, because he first loved me.
All right, that was a little warm up. You had a nice warm up? All right, good stuff. We're going to sing, everyone knows Mansion Over the Hilltop, right? How does it start again? I'm satisfied with just a cottage below, a little silver and a little gold. But in that city where the ransom will shine, I want a gold one, that silver line. Just over the hilltop, in that bright land where we'll never grow old, and someday yonder we'll never more wander, but walk on streets that are pure as gold. Don't take me poor, deserted or lonely. I'm not discouraged, I'm heaven bound. I'm just a pilgrim in search of a city. I want a mansion, a harp and a crown. I've got a mansion just over the hill. Let me hear you, please. You can go loud on that. Bright land where we'll never grow old, and someday yonder we'll never more wander, but walk on streets that are pure as gold. I've got a mansion. I've got a mansion just over the hilltop, in that bright land where we'll never grow old, and someday yonder we'll never more wander, but walk on streets that are pure as gold. How many of you plan to walk on streets as pure as gold? All right, that's only like 15 of y'all. You know, they say everyone ain't going to heaven, so if y'all don't want to go to heaven, then I can see why. But 15 of us going to heaven, we can walk on streets of gold. One last song, which is, I have a song that Jesus gave. You know that one? I have a song that Jesus gave me. It was sent from heaven above. There never was a sweeter melody. 'Tis the melody of love. Oh, in my heart there rings a melody. Rings a melody, heaven's harmony. It was sent from heaven above, and it's a melody of love. 'Twill be my endless theme in glory. With the angels I will sing. 'Twill be a song with glorious harmony, when the chords of heaven ring. In my heart there rings a melody of heaven's harmony. It was sent from heaven above, and it's a melody of love. There's another part to that, right? Jesus, loving Jesus, sweetest name I know, fills my every longing, keeps me singing as I go. Oh, wonderful, wonderful is to me, Counselor, Prince of Peace, mighty God I see, saving me, keeping me from all sin and shame. Is my Redeemer, praise his name, for we'll be dwelling together. Get how happy we will be, how happy we throughout eternity, for we'll be dwelling together, my Lord and I, my Lord and D-A-Y. I love him better every D-A-Y. Close by his side, I will abide. I love him better every D-A-Y. Thank you very much. We had to stir up some old-time memories there. Please stand to your feet. We're gonna just do our preliminaries right quick. We're gonna have our AY pledge, A motto, and we'll go on from there. All right, let's repeat together the AY aim, the Advent message to all the world in my generation. The motto is, for the love of Christ compels us. And the pledge, loving the Lord Jesus, I promise to take an active part in the work of the event, doing all I can to finish the work of the gospel in all the world. I had a different version. I had the NIV, I think. Do we have the song, AY song? All right. All right, let's get the words up there. Adventist youth are we, from every land and sea. Together we work with perfect harmony. We have a faith to share with people everywhere. A message of love from God above to show the world we care. Adventist youth, Adventist youth, Adventist youth. Thank you very much. Just before you sit, welcome everybody. We're going to get our program started. But what I want to ask again, for those who just came in late, we're actually asking people under the balcony just to come up front, because you need to feel the energy here on this 52nd year of independence. So under the balcony is restricted unless you have one of those cards we gave out. If you don't have one of those cards we gave out, then you need to come from under the balcony up front. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let's try one more time so I can make sure we get those persons who are under the balcony defying the rules and they're saying come up and they're staying under the balcony. So let's say it one more time. So those under the balcony who defying the rules, and we wonder why the children don't do stuff. Good morning under the balcony. Thank you. I should come up. Y'all know I can see it. I can see it. Anyway, we're here to have a good time. Feel free to sit wherever you want to sit. Once it's not under the balcony. We're going to go, Brother Jennings. Once it's not under the balcony, feel free to sit anywhere. So hallelujah again. Give me the hallelujah while you move. While you move. Listen. I'm here to welcome you to our independent island, AY. So here we're going to get some performance from different islands. We're going to know what's happening in each of our islands. And we're going to know how the work, also, the Adventist work is doing in some of those islands. And maybe the persons might do a song or two from each island. So we want you to make sure you enjoy yourself. It's our time. It's independent time. It's a Bahamian time. 242 in the know. Oh, don't like it? Too bad. So quick roll call. We have Ilutra in the house today. What about Andras? Okay, tell me what I'll do. This is what I'll do. I'll change it around. If I call your island, you stand up and you tell me if you know a song, just say a little piece of the song about your island. Okay? So let me give you an example. Let me give you that. If I say Bimini, anybody from Bimini? Anybody know anything, any song of Bimini in it? Okay. Okay, so let's try. Ilutra folks, stand up, let's see what you got. Any song with Ilutra in it? Or something? Go ahead. We have Ilutra right here. Let's go. Pineapple wine comes. Illutra all the time. Have mercy in the church. Oh, we have a next Illutra? All right, give me a song from Illutra. Anything? That's a homemade song. Andres, let's say Andres. Good Andres people. Go ahead, let me hear you. Andres Island, big and long. Whatever goes there will make you strong. Even the cats and the dogs and even the bullfrog. Oh God. I didn't. And let's go all the way down to Exuma. He had something going there just now. What about Abaco? Okay, let's say something from Abaco.
Funky soul out of Abaco.
Yeah. What about Inagua? Yes, sir. The best kept secret. And you from Inagua? Okay. When you get a chance, folks, ask them what that secret is. Your eyes gonna open up wide. You be like, and it ain't. Okay, anybody from Grand Bahama? No? Okay, let's go with another island. Cat Island. Join the raking scrape. Okay, let's go down some more. Going down. Come on, next island. Long Island. Yeah. No Long Islanders in here? No sheep? No. Susan, you use Long Island? You run sheep? You know how to run sheep? Okay. What about Acklands? Acklands in here. They get us off for Acklands though. Straight from Screw World and Fasteners. Okay, let me see. Yes, the next island is going to be Rum Key. Anybody from Rum Key? No? What about last one? Yeah? San Salvador. You know San Salvador is there? Wow, nothing from San Salvador. What about, let's try this one. What about Hog Island? Paradise Island, bye. What about New Providence? Okay, so we got a couple of islands with some songs, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call Dr. Wilson, and she will come now and ask some trivial questions and see if you can get them right. Okay, and then we'll get into our program. But we're in for a good time. We're gonna be here from now until we go home. How about that? Okay, Dr. Wilson.
Good evening, Church. Happy Sabbath. All right, so trivia is one of my favorite things to do, and I have been tasked with getting the trivia questions for, I feel like a few years now, and when they asked me to do it again for this year, I felt as if I needed to come very hard, so I didn't. I looked for very unique questions that I think some of our aged youth should have the answers to, but the younger ones may not know. So I'm counting on the old at heart and young and mind and spirit to help answer these questions, okay? So we're not starting off too hard. We have about 5 questions each round, and we're going to get a little bit harder each time. So some of these are a little bit of fun facts. Some of these are questions. Some of these are a little bit of a true and a false. So bear with me, guys, okay? All right, so my first trivia question is, who was the first female gold medalist? Pardon me? Pauline Davis Thompson. Very, very good. You get bonus points. Oh, side note, I have no prizes, so all you get is bragging rights, just for everybody to understand. But you get bonus points for knowledge. So when did she win this gold medal? Which year? Which country? No Googling, people. Put your phones away. Which country and which race? Which race did she win the gold medal? No. She do 4x1, and the 200 later, and then which country? Where was the Olympics at that time? No. Close. Sydney. Which year? 2000. 2000. Very, very good. All right. So that one was a little easy, right? That was a little easy. Now this one is going to be a little bit more difficult, so you have to listen very well, okay? You have a question? Don't ask me. I'm sorry. I just going off of what the trivia questions came up as. Did she? I think she ran the last leg, so she was the first over the line. She did the 4x1. Okay, fine, cool. Okay, so this next question is a little bit more difficult. Which bills did Queen Elizabeth II formally appear on? The dollar bill, the $5 bill, and the $100 bill. So previously, before we had many of our dignitaries on the dollar bills or on our bills, Queen Elizabeth II, she appeared on the $5 bill, the $1 bill, and the $100 bill. I don't know. And the $50 bill. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. Okay. So my next question, we'll see. Let's see. Okay, which outer island was the first island to receive electricity? No. Eleuthera was the first outer island to receive electricity. According to my sources, they said that after World War II, Eleuthera had a lot of infrastructure during that time, so it was one of the first outer islands to gain electricity during the 1930s and the 1940s. However, Nassau, New Providence, had electricity a little bit earlier, around 1909. And the last question before I head over to the islands for the presentations is going to be, okay. What game, a staple game for Bahamians, right? What game was once banned by the government? No. Dominoes. Does anybody know why dominoes was banned by the government? Sorry, wait, this is so funny. Okay, so according to this historical site, in the early 1900s, the Bahamian government temporarily banned dominoes because it was so popular that people were neglecting work and productivity. You gotta slam the dominoes. Who cares about money? All right, so thank you for your participation. Also, if anybody in the crowd has any trivia that you think the audience may not know, or you think that's a fun fact that I may not have, please feel free to raise your hand. I will allow you to come up and share that fun fact with everybody, okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right, I love the energy in the room. We'll be starting off, and we're not really going in alphabetical order, you know. Some of y'all islands, y'all wasn't born there, y'all wasn't from there, it was quiet, so that means there's no representative here, all right? And if you're from that island, and your island is not featured up here, and you're like, why didn't you call my island? Because we asked y'all to come and give y'all a presentation, but if you didn't come, then that is too bad, all right? So, coming up now, we will start with Eleuthera. Is Eleuthera in the house? I was promised a choir and a presentation. Y'all have your choir? Yes, I know that's right. Eleuthera, followed by Abaco, in that order. Welcome, Eleuthera, as they come.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me first make a disclaimer. I am not an expert on Eleuthera, but Eleuthera is a place that I love. If you ask me anywhere I want to go in the world at any time or any place, I will say to you, Topham Bay, Eleuthera. All right, so can I have the slide, please? JJ. That's later in the presentation. So, guess what? Fabio wanted me to come up here. Okay, sorry. Oh, good. What island is this? It is? Okay, first of all, I need you to talk back to me when I ask a question. I need you to raise your hands as good students will do. You just don't scream out the answer, right? So you raise your hands like good students, and I will point to you, and you can give me the answer. What is this island? Eleuthera? Right, Eleuthera. Right. Next slide. Yes, it's Eleuthera. And when we think of Eleuthera, what do we think of usually? Michaela? Pineapples. Very good. Next slide, please. Who may these people be? Yes, Roscoe. The Lucayans, I'm going to refer. Yes. They are the Eleutherian adventurers. Yes. And where did they come from? If you can hear me, clap once. Yes, Hadassah. No. Yes. They came from Bermuda. And why did they come from Bermuda? Monique? Yes, they were trying to escape religious persecution. What happened was those that were in Bermuda, they wanted them to pledge allegiance to the Queen. Like how we say we pledge allegiance to the flag. They wanted those persons to pledge allegiance to the Queen, and they refused to do it. So William sailed along with Captain Butler, they decided that they would leave and go search for religious liberty. I guess we can thank them today for what? For Hans Roscoe, freedom of, right, we can worship freely. Another thing I forgot to ask, what does Eleuthera, the word Eleuthera mean? Jade. Freedom, yes. So, next slide. Go back one slide. Okay, the Lutheran Adventist. Another thing we need to know is that when they were on their way to Eleuthera, they were shipwrecked. And because of this, they lost the provisions that they were bringing to the island. They were shipwrecked at where? Where were they shipwrecked? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. They were shipwrecked where? Crystal? Preacher's Cave. Yes, and why was it called Preacher's Cave? No, not a keel, the little girl in the back. What did she say? Kinda, sorta. Okay, so what happened when they got there? They were so happy that all 8 of them survived. And after that, that was a meeting place. That was basically their church where they went to every time they worshiped. Next slide, please. Yes, next slide. And this here is inside Preacher's Cave, and that is the pulpit from which they would have preached. Now, after they got to Eleuthera, and they were shipwrecked, and they lost all the provisions, they went to seek help from Massachusetts. So I'm thinking that's where they originally came from before they went to Bermuda. They went to seek assistance from those persons in Massachusetts, and so they brought back building supplies, food, all of those things. And from that is where we get one of our, I wouldn't say industries, but one thing that is indigenous to the Bahamas is the boat building.
Point out there.
Point.
Press the down button.
Boat building. Can you picture with me, we're downtown near, I think it may be across from Government House. I think they used to call it Balcony House. Yeah. And doesn't it look like a boat? No? Well, that's how they used to make boats back then, and that's why. And that is how we get the boat building as well as our style of homes. What structure is this? Yes, Demesia. The glass, what? Glass bottom? Why are you shouting? Use your inside voice. Thank you. Yes, the glass window bridge. And why is it called the glass window bridge? Say what? No. Anyone else? Yes. No. Okay, so before there was this actual bridge, there was a natural made structure from the coral and rocks and all of that in the shape of a bridge. And it gave you a clear view of when you looked out. So that is why it was called the glass window bridge. And there's another train of thought in my research. They were saying some guy built some glass windows on top of a bridge, but with hurricanes and just natural wear and tear, it collapsed. Okay, so what bodies of waters are these? Yes. The Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. The Atlantic Ocean is the calm, and the Caribbean Sea is the rough. All right. Yes? You raised your hand? Okay. Next. This is what? What are we looking at? Pink sand. And how do we get pink sand? We just put what? Coloring in it and it's pink sand? Do we know how? Yes. Yes, there are some microorganisms that grow this pink outer shell. And so when they die, through the motions of the waves, they get washed ashore and they get mixed in with the sand, and thus you have pink sand. So this here is the style of home that you would usually find in Topham Bay, Lutheran. At least when I was growing up, a lot of the houses looked like this. And this house is, Miss Lillian, was on the Dixie, right? Yeah. This right here, this is what they call the Dixie. Now, I'll tell you a little about when I was growing up. If you go just a little further back, there is a four-way crossing in the road. I don't know how the people knew, but every single time before you touch down in Topham Bay, they knew that you were there. And everybody came and they stood in the Dixie and everybody stared at you. They just, you know, it was so weird to me, right? But this is where I learned what true freedom really was. Growing up in New Providence, you know, when I was growing up, we had a whole corner that we could run up and down and play and whatever, but these children nowadays, you have to stay inside because we have unsafe people all over the place, right? But here, we could leave. Well, they used to make you have worship, say your prayers, eat breakfast, and then you gone. You don't have to come back home until 10, 11 o'clock because it's that safe. You just up and down the settlement, that's making mischief. And if you know anybody that truly knows me, all we did was get in trouble and laugh at people, make jokes. That's basically all we did. This here is Bayfront. This is what I couldn't wait to get to. This sand, like you could be in the sea all day. Like, there's nothing more pleasurable. Okay, now this here is what my mommy told me is the Episcopal Church. I don't know the official name of the church. All I know is this is the Episcopal Church. And whenever they have a turning out, Miss Lillian, or whenever they have funerals, this is the corner where the band comes swinging around, and that's when people, they just put their big dance on right there coming around the curve, right? This here is the Methodist Church. My grandparents lived to the right of this, but unfortunately years ago their house was destroyed by fire, but it was a similar house to the first house I showed you, the colonial style house. Their one was yellow and green. And my mother told me many stories about, okay, let me go back. Okay, so you see up top there is a porch, right? Her parents were farmers. And her and her sisters, she had 3 sisters, but was one sister, they were very close. And there weren't many places sometimes to keep the produce. So they would put the produce like the onions, tomatoes, whatever, what have you, on the porch. And so they would go up there and hide. And when they see somebody passing, somebody who they didn't know, I mean, they did know, but just for fun, they would paw them with rotten tomatoes, rotten onions, and they say, Margaret and Ruby, catch you tomorrow. So, yeah. So in the front, they also had a garden where they could play. And then too, there was a rock oven that my grandmother had that she used to bake. This here is where I nearly lost my life. I'm not kidding. Our Bahamian waters are so clear that they fool you, right? Because you can see straight to the bottom and you're thinking that it's just, like 5 feet or whatever. Well, Carla saw all of her cousins from Elutha, they running and they jumping off the dock, so run and I jump off the dock. Well, child, please. I had to sputter to get to the top. So I'm thinking that probably was been 15, 20 feet. And I don't know how I got to shore, but I never, ever, ever, ever jumped off that big dock again. This here is, my mother told me about this Mr. Hughes. I guess he was an American man that had interest in Eleuthera, and she said they used to have like plays as well as art shows in this man's home, because he had a gallery and what have you. And that is it. Thank you for listening. Now, Fabia wanted me to do this whole entire presentation in the Topham Bay accent. If I did that, y'all wouldn't understand me. So, let's go, Fabia.
So, hello. Okay, we on now. So just a few questions. Okay, so again, just to recap, which settlement is your family from?
My family?
Yes.
My family is from Topham Bay, Eleuthera.
Okay. And tell me something about this attire that you have on. Who designed it?
My daughter. My daughter designed this.
Okay. And who's your daughter?
Jada.
And who's your mother?
Margaret.
Okay. And also, you go to work every day. Tell me the reason why you go to work.
I lose money. That's why I go to work.
So our tongue is a little bit different. We speak proper English, but we don't say mother. We say ma.
Ma, pa.
Pa. And
Andy.
Andy. And
That's auntie. Andy.
uh-huh. And speak about the money. Tell me about the money, the number 3.
Oh, you mean $3?
And tell me about
And $20?
yeah, do you have a $20 bill?
A $20 bill? No, I don't have a $20 bill.
Okay. So since we didn't have a choir, and I don't think y'all were prepared for me to sing today, that was a part of the choir. Thank you.
Awesome. Did we learn something new about Eleuthera? A $20 bill. Wow. If my grandpa was in here listening to that, he would have beat me. All right, next we have Abaco with Dr. Sasha McKinney, followed by Inagua. Now, I know y'all see the sun. So, as we had a lovely presentation, unfortunately, moving forward, everyone else, let's try to keep it within 10 minutes, yes? You know, we can't sell things on the Sabbath. So we have remember we have a social after. Get your pockets warmed and ready. We will be having a sale on our lovely Bahamian food that I'm sure everyone will have a taste for after we've heard about all of this island life. Oh, 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, 5 to 7 minutes, everyone. Dr. Natasha Brown, followed by Inagua, Brother Winston Ash.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Nasasha Boodle McKinney. Tyler got Brown from, but I am so excited to be presenting on my island, Abaco. Myself, Shanquel Rackley, who is my cousin, and Miss Enid, who I just met today, who is from South Abaco. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about my island, our island. So you could go to the next slide. Can I use this pointer or you have? Okay, so Abaco, the Bahamas. In the corner, we have the crest of Abaco, which is a sailboat. Abaco is known as the sailing capital of the Bahamas. I could use this? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's known as the sailing capital of the Bahamas. And the name, the Abaco Islands were once referred to as Lukiu Neck by the Lucayans, which translates as the people's distant waters. Now, I'm not sure why it was called the people distant waters. I think that it may be due to the fact that Abaco is the most northeastern island in the Bahamas. And so if you miss Abaco, you're in the Atlantic. So maybe just distant is just water. So maybe that's why they call it the people's distant waters. Right, so, I went back. And what I just want to point out is a picture of a blue hole, which we have a few in Abaco. I know Andres is the island of the blue holes, but we do have a few blue holes in Abaco. This one is the Treasure Key blue hole, and growing up, I remember going to the blue hole, jumping in it, swimming across it. So it's very popular with Abaconians, with swimming in the blue hole. And sometimes we have persons come from universities to dive down and explore the blue hole. So I have a lot of fond memories going to the blue hole to go swimming. Now, a little introduction in terms of the geography of Abaco. So it is a group of islands located in the northern part of the Bahamas, about 193 miles east of Miami, Florida. And it's separated into Great Abaco and Little Abaco. Little Abaco is up north, and I was not sure up until why we separated the two, up until I made this presentation, but apparently Little Abaco and Great Abaco, they're separated by this small little body of water. So we have a bridge that's connecting the two. And in terms of the spirit of Abaco, it's a great spirit of community. The reason why I have a picture of the Christmas festival there is because Christmas in Abaco growing up was very magical. They really did a great job with decorating the community. We would have the Christmas bazaar that would be the start off of Christmas celebration. A lot of the second home owners would set up in their yard Christmas displays, and so they would have like these very specific and intricate displays that the children can come and look at, and then they would give out presents. So all around we would be getting presents from like everywhere, including our parents. So Christmas was really special growing up in Abaco. And then in terms of the crystal clear waters of Abaco, it makes it an ideal hub for water sports. Here's a picture of my dad on one of our fishing days. I took that picture. So my dad taught me how to line fish, and so growing up we would go in the boat and fish. And believe it or not, Abaco is well, not quite popular, but some persons come to Abaco, or some of the residents in Abaco, they actually surf there. So because of the reef that we have on our Atlantic or eastern side, we have a lot of waves, especially during the winter season. And so I had a friend in high school who would surf all the time. So surfing is popular. A little bit more of the geography of Abaco. It is a spacious area. Abaco covers an area about 776 square miles. And as I mentioned, you have Great Abaco, Little Abaco, and you have a lot of keys along the eastern side. So many keys: Guana Key, Green Turtle Key, Manowar Key. You have Elbow Key, or Hope Town, as we call it. That's where the Candy Stripe Lighthouse is, and I'll show a picture of that. So there are a lot of keys in Abaco, and each key gives a different vibe and experience and culture. So it's a lot of fun going to the different keys in Abaco as well. The Abaco, as I mentioned, has a barrier reef, which is the third longest barrier reef globally. So it spans about 120 miles, not the largest. So Andros has the third largest barrier reef, but Abaco has the third longest barrier reef. And it's very important because, as I mentioned, after you pass beyond the eastern side of the island, you're in the Atlantic Ocean. And so it helps a lot with kind of breaking the high waves coming from the Atlantic Ocean into the Keys. So in terms of the history of Abaco, pre-1492, who came to the Bahamas in 1492? Okay, so pre-1492, the first known inhabitants of Abaco were the Lucayans, and it is believed that there were as many as 10,000 Lucayans who lived in Abaco. And then following that, in the 1700s, the late 1700s, after the American Revolution War, this was a war that happened in the that happened in the Americas. They wanted independence from Britain, and there were a group of people who wanted to remain loyal to the British government. And so they came, there was a general whose picture is there, who came up with the idea for them to come to Abaco or come to the Bahamas, which was still under British rule. And then following that, in the 19th century, Abaco became known as a hub for boat building, and there is a key in Abaco called Man-O-War Key that is known as the boat building capital in Abaco, and I have some pictures there. There's a picture of some of the gentlemen back then building boats, and they're still a family known as the Alburys who still build boats in Man-O-War to this day. And then there's a boat called the Abaco Dinghy, which is that small boat right there that was one of the boats that were created in Abaco, and it was used for fishing and commerce. So we became very well known for building boats. Now, in terms of our economy, tourism is really the backbone of Abaco's economy, and Abaco has a very strong economy, so we contribute about 3.5% to the total GDP of the Bahamas, which makes it the third largest after Grand Bahama. So Nassau, of course, produces the most money for the Bahamas, and then Grand Bahama, and then Abaco. And then in terms of agriculture, we have a farm in Abaco called the Abaco Neem Farm. I'm not sure, has anyone ever gone into any of the pharmacies over here and saw a display with neem, Abaco neem? Yeah, so there is a very big farm in Abaco called the Abaco Neem Farm. It's run by 2 Abaconians, and they're very passionate about neem and its health benefits. Just a bit of history in terms of the agriculture. Culture in Abaco, way back, we actually had a lot of citrus farms. We produced a lot of oranges and grapefruits. And so to the bottom there is a advertisement from a newspaper back in the day. 100,000 prime Bahamian oranges, large, sweet, just came from Abaco, and it was the farm was owned by an American, and so it was a great booster for the economy back in the day. And I think a lot of persons, even from the other islands, came to Abaco to work on these citrus farms. Okay, and wrapping up, I just want to mention that one of the things that, the attractions is quite popular in Abaco is the Elbow Key and Hopetown Lighthouse. And I just want to let you know that this Candied Stripe lighthouse is the last kerosene burning lighthouse in the world. So there are about 18,000 lighthouses in the world, and this is the last one that uses kerosene to light up. And so the lighthouse keeper walks 101 steps each day. So his work starts in the evening. He walks up the 101 steps, and he has to crank with his hand 427 times every 2 hours to keep the lights on. So it is a labor of love, as he says. But his dad did it before him, and his granddad did it before him. And there's a nice video on the Bahamas tourism website where they show him walking up the steps and cranking it to keep it on. Okay, Treasure Key Beach, which is usually ranked one of the top beaches in the world for its powdery white sand. And then you have the Green Turtle Key and New Plymouth community. Here's a picture of the Minister of Tourism at that time. He was cutting a ribbon for the Albert Lowe Museum, which is the first museum in the Bahamas. And then we have the Abaco National Park, which is protected under the Bahamas National Trust, specifically for this very beautiful bird called the Abaco parrot, which is a unique species, only specific to Abaco. And what makes this so unique as well is that they are the only ground nesting parrot species in the Bahamas. So you see them in the ground in a hole, that's their nest. And so they maybe still are endangered. There are about 1,000, and then due to conservation efforts, there are now about 4,000. So if you go down to South Abaco, you could see a lot of these Abaco parrots. Just a quick mention about Dorian, which again is a show of resilience of the Abaco community. In 2019, when it happened, I was here in Nassau as an intern at PMH, and my family, they live over there. And just the stories that I've heard about what happened was just so heartbreaking. But my dad came out of it an Abaco Dorian hero, because he had rescued in his school bus over 300 persons from our community in Murphytown. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and so, you know, we have the Junkanoo culture. We call it love rush because there's no bad blood. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Abaco strong all the way.
Abaco strong. We will now have Brother Winston Ash coming to speak to us about Inagua, followed by Brother Charles Raming. Y'all see he has been sitting here patiently. He has agreed to serenade us with 2 specials this evening, straight from the island. So Inagua, Brother Winston Ash, followed by Brother Charles Miller. Everybody, let's remember our time limit. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am here to talk about Inagua. But I'm not from Inagua. A lot of you get confused, think I'm from Inagua. I went down in Inagua in 2016 to carry the Vacation Bible School. And the church in Inagua was there for before I reached there, about 60 odd years. But they didn't have any structure. They didn't have any land, they didn't have any church place. So after I got there in 2016, on July, I said, this is not right for Inagua. God's church should not be like that. So we went down there in July. Things were so bad, you had to have a church anywhere, like under the trees. And the persons who were there at that time, they decided that they'll have church under the trees, and then they go to church in the schoolhouse. So every Sabbath morning when you go to church, if they had a program, they had the program in the school. So you had to spend time to clean up the school before you could have church. So I said, that's not right. So at that time, we went out and we decided that we are going to change that. And right away, the society hall was free. No one was using that after a hurricane. It was completely dilapidated. The society members who were still alive, they gave us permission to use the society hall. We used the society hall, and we went there, and then in July, by September, we were able to have service in the church. Because when we got there, you could sit down in the church and look outside through the walls. Because the walls were dilapidated as well. And today, now, we have a very good building, but we don't have any members. So when I saw that, I say, this can't be, because I don't live in Inagua. So we decided that we would try to get a parsonage. And we started building the parsonage about a year and a half ago. And today we have a parsonage that we can't live in because accommodation in Inagua is a little high. You know, somebody talked about Inagua, some place being the first place that had electricity. Well, from my history, Inagua was supposed to have been the capital of the Bahamas because of the salt. And the salt at this moment is bringing in more than $1 billion. But Inagua, the place in Inagua is falling off. The upkeep of Inagua is falling off. So I don't know what to do with that $1 billion. Okay? So we need to try to put some handle on these dollars we are sending out. Okay? But because I am not from Niagara, I give you the history of the Niagara now, right? We built a church? No. We renovated the building. We have a functioning church almost as good as almost again. But the hurricane that came caused us to have a leak in our church. So now I have more work to do to try to get that sorted out. We have the pastor in it, so anybody who wants to go down, I'm trying to find people who could go down like maybe once a week. So we rotate 52 persons who go down a week. We'll have somebody there. Because right now, when one person is empty, when one person fails to come to church, it's half the church missing. Y'all heard me? If one person is absent on the Sabbath, half of the church is missing. So this day I went to church and I started to preach. And I was preaching with my heart out. And when I finished preaching, I made an altar call. And Sister Prophet said, Brother Ash, what happened? You can't see it. He says, it's only you and me in this church. So I said, you don't know who's listening. But I give you a history of what happened since I got involved. But the church was there a long time. I'm going to let now Tony Burris, who's a native of Niagara, who can really finish off the 5 minutes without any hesitation. So Tony Burris will now give you some more information on Niagara. Thanks.
I see Uncle Charles done start priming the guitar, so he is my uncle, right? So he priming the guitar, so that's the signal. But I'll just be very, very short. One of the outstanding things about Niagara that made it such a progressive place was that unlike all of the islands in the Bahamas, New Providence included until recent years, was that every piece of property could be identified, bought, and sold. You didn't have a situation where an entire generation, 1,000 people owned that one property, and for somebody to do something, you got to check with the 1,000 people. And it was the Society Hall, which really was a lodge, if I can remember as a little boy. But every piece of property, I remember going back to the property, my grandfather's property, which he purchased, I think it was 1954, and he purchased it for £4, which of course today is like a $25, but of course the purchasing power back then would have been in the value of hundreds and hundreds of dollars as you go. So that was one of the things about it. The other thing is that Niagara being at the root that it was very deep ocean, I always found as a child when you went onto the eastern end of the island, you went on some of the beaches that were there, you always walked in, and when you'd walk the beach, you'd walk in a lot of tar. Come to find out what happened is a major shipping lane, and you find every imaginable type of vessel and would pass through that area. And then, of course, during the construction of the Panama Canal, Niagara population was like around 3,500 persons around that time. Early 1900s, late 1800s. And what happened was, of course, when the canal started, well, prior to the canal being built, you had a situation where there was Haiti, Central and South America, persons going to the North America, Canada, the US, Mexico. They always made their way there, those persons venturing, going to the south, and then the persons coming from the south going to the north would pass over. Just like if you, let's say when you are coming from Miami, and you're now on your way to Central or South America, more than likely you fly over two places. You fly over Cuba and you fly over Niagara as you're making your way to go, whether it's going to Colombia or Chile, Argentina, wherever you're going, and you realize, oh, I'm flying back over my homeland. So it's a real transshipment area. Then, of course, Niagara is known mainly, I guess, when you think of it, the flamingos. And they have them by the thousands, of course, as you go out there. You have the flamingos, then you have the donkeys that usually make their way in town. Remember the old days, persons would keep, you didn't have the running water, so persons kept the waters in the 55-gallon barrels. and the donkeys would make their way into town and tip your top off, and of course once they sunk their head in there, when they came out, the barrel was half, because that's how deep, as far as their head could go. Yeah, of course you had the pirates and the wild hog, and I can remember as a boy, teenager so to speak, and the wild hog, you'd get up maybe 3 in the morning, and I always noticed you had these pot cakes who loafed around all day, and my grandmother would be feeding them. I'd say to myself, these are the most worthless dogs I ever see. But of course, when they knew here it was, my uncle would now come for all of us, we would get into the truck, and the dogs all of a sudden came to life, because they know now that they were going to be involved in the hunt. And so they would sprint and just come to life, jump onto the truck. Then when we get deep into the land, you let the tailgate down, and then they would scatter and move through the bush. And of course, when they start barking, as they would corner a hog, and the hog have the tusk, and the hog would start spinning, and the dogs would have to stay off so that they don't get hit with the tusk. Every now and again you'd lose a dog, but then they would contain the hog until someone could come and maybe fire a couple of shots and put the hog to sleep, so to speak, and so that you can have a meal. But I made it, as you'd go forward, then of course one of the things about Inagua, my father is now 86 years old, and when he born, he actually met electricity in Inagua. As a boy, he was 8, and so the electricity has been there probably close to 100 years. And with that, of course, the Glenn Erickson Company, which started the salt business in Inagua. Originally, they were in Turks and Caicos, because you found that, anybody heard of Joseph Bates? Yes, Joseph Bates, one of the Adventist founding father. If you read his book, he would talk about when they came to, he was a sailor, when they came to Turks and Caicos, where they used to dig salt and whatever you. But Erickson, but those were slaves back at the time, digging the salt, and then they would take it back to North America. But when they really wanted to be a large scale, Turks and Caicos was too small. That's when it went to Inagua, and then Glenn Erickson started the company in Inagua, which of course was then sold to Morton, and went on and on and on. Thinking of one of the major attractions in Inagua, which has started to deteriorate, is the lighthouse, which my brother lives. Probably he could throw a rock from his house, probably, or if he got a good strong arm, and hit the lighthouse. And the lighthouse, the light, I always remember as a boy and even as a teenager when you'd be there, at nights, no matter where you were on the island, that light would come and whoop, when it come back around, whoop. And the light had a range of 32 miles. So persons out to sea, boatmen would be able to see it and then be able to. Uncle Charles, did you ever work on the Inagua lighthouse? You used to be a lighthouse keeper. You did, all right. On and on. So what else I should go on? But I guess I could go on to a million things, but anyhow, Uncle Charles ready, and then other person. So hey, when you get a chance now, Brother Ash mentioned about if we could have a situation where one person, 2 persons could come a week. So in Hillview, contact Brother Ash. Say if about, just contact him. Then we slot you in on a calendar, and you'll be surprised the significant difference you'll make for the persons there, and the edification you'll get in your own spirit in terms of service to other people, other than ourselves. Because when we come here, nice carpet, soft chair, on and on. They have soft chair and air conditioning, but you only have a handful. I know I just come from Inagua yesterday, and we had an independent service, which I think all Adventist churches should start doing, which is, how you do the New Year service? We did the independent service as the New Year service. So God bless and prosper all of us. But please get in touch with Brother Ash, and then let's see how we could organize different persons going down to keep the work alive. Thank you.
Good evening, AY. I am not from Inagua, but I'll soon be a part of that group. And I just want to let you know I couldn't let this opportunity pass. As president of the Retires Association, Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, we have a group now that is already charging for this trip in November of this year to to Inagua. Right now I have 10 persons, and if there are others of you who would like to join us on this trip to Inagua in November, the first weekend in November, you please see me or see Sister Yvonne or Sister Mary. They are Brother Elvin Fowler. They're all members of our association. But we are members from all the churches, including Brother Ash is one of our ex officio members, but his wife is totally there with us, okay? So see me. We're looking for contributions, monetary, as well as care stuff for our care packages that we can distribute. We hope to touch with the young people there at the schools. We want to go into the homes of the sick and elderly and shut in and minister to them for that weekend, November 6th through 7th through 10th. November 7th through 10th. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Rami. That was a beautiful rendition. And since we had him playing the guitar, one of my trivia questions to you guys is, who is known as the father of the guitar in the Bahamas? That was very good. I didn't expect y'all to know that. Okay, cool. All right, so my next trivia question. Now y'all catch me off guard because I thought y'all was gonna take a while to answer the question. Let me find the question that I wanted. Okay, so where was the military base located during World War II? No? No. It's a base where they trained on. No. Close? Yes? No. It's in Nassau. It's in New Providence. Pardon me? Oaksville. Yes, 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 sir. Out of the top of your heads, can you estimate how many Bahamians fought in the World Wars? You can combine them together. Just give me a rough estimate of how much Bahamians you think fought in World War I and World War II. No. Higher. 2,000, yeah. It was approximately 1,800 to 2,000 people that fought in the World War. And to give you guys just a little bit of information, I'll see if I have time, which I don't think I do. So we are actually going to have Miss Clark come up and present for Cat Island now. We would like to remind you to stick to the 5 to 7 minutes if possible so that we can get through all of the presentations. And then after Sister Clark, we'll have Sister Rami presenting on accolades. Thank you.
Cat Island, oh Cat Island. Happy Independence, Hillview. This evening, I am not discussing no history. I'm not giving no history of no Cat Island. You all look it up. We're talking about the present Cat Island, what it looked like today. Okay? Could we start the video, please? Welcome to Cat Island.
The Bahamas is made up of 700 islands, all stretch over pristine turquoise waters. But I'm a bit partial to Cat Island. Cat Island is part of this big family of islands that we call the Bahamas. And we call it family because we might be separate and unique in our own ways, but we are family. Cat Island happens to be a part of that big family. Just so happens that's my home, that's where I live.
I grew up here. The peace of mind, you can go anywhere and you don't have to worry about nobody bothering with you. I could go on the beach and just walk the bay all day. It's so awesome. I thank God that I was born in the Bahamas, right here in Cat Island.
That's right.
In Cat Island, we have settlements. We know everybody in the settlement. We care about each other, and so we look out for each other. Every island in the Bahamas has their uniqueness. Cat Island has the highest point in the Bahamas, Como Hill, which is 206 feet high. To us, that is pretty high. Our visitors come to Cat Island just to take a climb and view the beauty when you would reach the top and look around.
My happy place has always been here. This is just where I always knew I wanted to be. I want to be able to go in the sea every day. And that experience is something that I always knew I wanted to have for my kids. Cat Island is the jewel of the Bahamas.
see the rolling hills, the sandy beaches, the private lagoons, the marshes. I mean, it's God's wonderland.
Cat Island is shaped like a leg. Its ankle is joined to a boot. And we're not finished. Okay, we're heading North Cat Island now. The first place we're gonna meet is Fernandez Bay, nice beautiful resort. The next we're gonna go to Smith Bay, the port of entry for the mail boat. That's where all our grocery comes. And from here we're going out of town. There's another airport down there, and there's a school, an out-of-town high school. Then we go to Orange Creek Inn. I live there, beautiful place. And then there's Shano Cove. Beautiful place, nice food. I've been there too, beautiful. Now we're gonna head south. South from the airport in New Bight, there's the regatta site. The next place is Rollies Resort Center. Resort Beach. Then there's a school also in Old Bight. Rollies in Old Bight. Old Bight High. And we move on to Hawkness and Greenwood. They are the resorts down in the south. And there's the Healing Pond. Okay, full of minerals. Healing for real. And that's Cat Island without the settlement. Now, what I want to say this evening is, I've played that video and I want to know now who's been listening. I have a treat, so let's who get it right. Name me 5 significant places in Cat Island. 2 areas of mainly tourist attraction, and 3 resorts name. 5. So 3 name of resorts, place, and then 2 tourist attraction. So I could keep my treat and eat it myself. Like the teacher say, raise your hand. Okay then, let me hear from you. Okay. All right. You deserve the treat. Great.
Good evening, everyone. Miss Charlene did well, so I'm going to take her extra time. Okay, can we have the presentation for Acklands, not Andrus? There you go. Okay, so something happened on my computer, but okay, I'm going to be like her and I'm not going to talk about this. So you'll just see that the population of Acklands in 2022 was 692. But according to our conference website, we do have a church in Lovely Bay. Is that correct? That is correct. Okay, and it has 27 members. Next slide, please. I don't know how many of you. Pointer. Wrong way.
Pointer, okay, yay, found it.
I don't know how many of you remember these 2 young people. Anybody in here related to them? Stand. Y'all gotta be kidding me. That's it? Okay. All right, so these are the Hannahs. And when you look up here, these are some of their 10 children. And so I had asked my mom, the second person to your left is Pastor Roy Hannah. He was once an executive secretary of the Bahamas Conference. He's now deceased. But when he was working with the conference, he was no longer living in Acklands. And his desire was that his family be saved. And I asked my mom, how did y'all become Seventh-day Adventists? And Sister Linda told a story this morning about the silent messengers. And she said they always, for some reason, had Adventist books in their home, including The Great Controversy. And she said she read the book, but it didn't make any sense to her until they studied European history in school. And they studied about how the Christians were martyred, and it began to make sense to her. And then they were enrolled in confirmation classes. They were Anglicans. But as Anglicans, in the confirmation classes, they studied the catechism. And she got to the part where it talked about how the church changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. And she said she went home and she looked it up in her Bible, and sure enough, Sabbath was Saturday. And she asked her father, did you know this? And he was like, yes. And she said she was so hurt. And she said, y'all are living a lie. And so she said she told her mom, her dad, that I am no longer going back to church on Sunday because Sunday is not the Sabbath. And you see these the four to the right, they're the 4 youngest siblings. I think she said she was around 9 or 10, may have been a little older. So that would have been the age bracket of them. And she is the third from your right. And in between there, anyone knows who that lovely lady is? Second from the right? Who is she? Sister Alice, our very own Sister Alice Sands, is my mom's sibling. And so the 4 of these young people took a stand that they were not going to go back to church on Sunday. And then she said her mother cooked for the priest. And she read a text in the Bible that say, call no man father. So now after they read that text, they used to get sent to carry the food for the priests every Sunday. And so before they went, they said, now, what are we going to do when we reach? Because we got to knock on the door, and what are we going to do? So they said, we're just going to knock on the door, and whoever answer it, we're just going to say, good afternoon, mommy sent this. Yes. And so that is what they did, and that's how they got out of that. And then they came to the part where they read in the Bible about the clean and the unclean foods. And the 4 of them decided they're not eating no more unclean foods. Now, their father was a farmer, kept pigs, kept this, kept that. And she said the weekend they decided that they're not eating no more unclean foods. Daddy came home with a big wash tub full of crawfish. And that next morning, when he came home, he put it on the fire and boiled all that crawfish. And the next morning, because this was like their favorite food, their mommy got up and decided she fixing them their favorite food. She fixed that minced crawfish with the Johnny cake and the hot cocoa tea. So now all them see this. They say, now what we could do? They say, okay, we could go in and we only take in the cocoa and the bread. So all of them walk in, they walk straight past, got the cocoa bread, went outside, and sit under the tree. Mommy see this? And she come out behind them. And she was like, what's going on? They say, we ain't eating no more. Say she was so upset. All this mince, crawfish. But, you know, after that, because these 4 young children now quoting scriptures to them as the parents, they didn't make too much big ado, and gradually they began to sell off their pigs, and they didn't make them eat it like they would cook for Grammy and Grampy, we used to call them. And then it came down to the point where they were supposed to be confirmed. And she said the 4 of them got together and they prayed and they said, if what we doing is right, make it so that the bishop, because the bishop had to come to confirm them, make it so that the bishop don't reach. So the first time the bishop was on his way, he had to stop in Long Island first before he got there. When he got in Long Island, he got the news that his father was ill. And so he had to turn back and go and deal with that. Then the next time when he came, he landed in Acklands, but the minute he landed, he started throwing up. And so the nurse looked at him and she decided, okay, we need to send him back on the plane to Nassau. So he went back. So then after that, they decided they were going to be baptized. She said the morning they were going to be baptized, because her parents knew that Sabbath was the Sabbath, Saturday was the Sabbath. She said the 4 of them put on their robes, and when they did, their dad came to the door and said, any more robes? And he put on one, and by the time as they got to the sea, Mommy asked for a robe, and so all of them got baptized. Praise the Lord. And they've left behind a rich legacy of Hannah descendants. So you see all of Mark, Matthew, Trisha, Chris, they would be the children and offspring of Thelma, 3rd from the right. And of course, I'm Joan. And then, of course, you know, all of Roderick. I'll read those. All right. Don't stand here unless you accompany me. So, Acklands, I was going to say Acklands is the capital of the Bahamas, but no. Acklands is the home of the Cascarilla bark. So these next 3 videos, if you've ever heard of it, we're going to play these next 3 videos. Is someone in the booth? I don't know if my clicker can play the video, if you need to press it for me. So you're going to see here what they do with the Cascarilla bark. Then you're going to see the salt ponds. And then Acklands is also the home of the Hannah homestead at Portland. So if you want more information about that, you can see Miss Patricia Clare. You want to see an example of what the Cascarilla bark looks like, you can come to our booth out there. And we also have some of the salt that you're going to see in here, over there, if you want to take a look at it. And you can also tonight purchase, in aid of the Pathfinders, some real Bahamian island salt. Look at it again. Can you click the video to play for me, please? Anyone in the booth? Signal to me? Okay, thank you. So you can just, once each video is completed, you can just go to the next one. So this one is going to show you them beating the bark. And when I saw this, I said, oh my word, that's a lot of work. There you go.
This is the fruit.
Yeah, just play it just like that and turn the volume up if possible.
Learn how to cut bark. They learn how to go in the bush and find the bark. They chop the bark themselves, soak it for 3 days, and now they are here beating the bark off the stick. For those of you who don't know about the cascarilla bark, it is a bark persons use for many different things. Cutting is one of the first things that people will tell you that they use the bark for. They also use the bark to make medication. Then also, they would actually use the bark to make perfume. In certain Caribbean countries, wine, and a number of
Okay, I can't quite, can you understand what's being said? Okay, so in this video, you can turn the volume down a little bit. In this video, you see them beating the bark. And the bark is used, for those of you who don't know, in Campari, in perfumes. They make oils. It smells very good. So what happens is they will chop the cascarilla tree. They will soak it, and then they have to beat it. When I saw them doing this, I was like, there's got to be a machine to do this. And they told me, no, it's done by hand because the machine would chip the actual wood and not just get the bark. And so, listen, the people in Auckland are working hard, but they're making money. So, plenty money. So they, this sells for like $15 a pound. And so we have a corporation now that's formed in Auckland that's making and about to make lots of money just from selling this product to Europe, people. There's money to be made in the Bahamas. Okay, next slide. This is the salt pond. He is actually walking on salt. That's how much salt is in the pond. Normally, you see the rocks. I don't think you see the rocks yet. Let me see. Normally, you have to walk on those rocks right there when the salt isn't in the pond, but the amount of salt in the pond, there was so much that you can actually... That's a cat islander, by the way, in Auckland. And so finally, we're going to show you a little tour. So all of these videos, thank you, compliments to Patricia Clare, descendant of Auckland, and one of the persons trying to push us to get back there. Let's see. So here's in the cave. Y'all want to do that? Hey, go to Auckland. You would have already seen the salt pond. Go to And then you have the ocean side. Yes, the Hannah Homestead. On a former slave plantation. It's an old house. Some of the old stuff they used to use. Thank you all. Come down and visit Ackland's. Little side note, I've never been to Ackland's. But I'm going come the 26th of this month. All right, very quickly, is the representative from San Salvador here? No. Okay, great. Now, we have saved the best for last. Luckily, my two sides are going back to back, so we just had Ackland's. But now we're heading down where? To the big yard. Please welcome our representative from Andres, and this is our last presenter. Y'all still awake? No. Y'all still awake? Y'all ready for the social? Listen to me. Don't y'all leave. Don't y'all leave. Y'all could go and sit on Clifford Park from 7 to 12 and then go to Junkanoo from 1 to 7. All right, let's stay and have some fun. Andres, everybody.
Okay, so let's stand up and stretch then. Stand up and stretch, get some life back into our bodies as we get ready. Stand up and stretch. There you go, there you go. Don't let me have to ask Sophia to lead us into some stretching. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Okay, so the island of Andros. And you know what I thought was interesting, what I learned? The Bahamas, what type of country is the entire Bahamas? The Bahamas. Pardon? An archipelago. But did you realize that some of the islands are also archipelagos? Yes, I learned that as well today, and Andros is an example of that. Thank you, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to help me with this presentation, answer some of the questions to keep us all alive and alert. Okay, what are some common names? Oh, let's see how this works. You want to come? Yes, we have some fond memories and feelings for this beautiful island. Okay, so what are some other names that we have for Andros? What are some other names that we have for Andros? Okay, I'm gonna follow suit with Sister Sands. Can you please raise your hand and wait until you're pointed to? Sister Smith. The big yard, okay, go on. The sleeping giant, Sister Adley. Oh my Andros. Yes, okay, so those were some of the names given to Andros. Okay, so Andros is, that's the last slide. Yeah. Okay, so Andros is very huge. It dwarfs other land mass within the Bahamas, and it boasts of 2,300 square miles. Andros is divided into different areas. Can anyone name some of the different areas, the different parts of Andros? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whose hand is up right over here? Thank you, sir. Pardon me? So what was the first one you said? Central Andros. Mangrove. South Andros. Okay, anyone want to? 4 sections. Go ahead, Sister Adelie. Okay, so we have North Andros, Central Andros, Mangrove Key, and South Andros. And I just learned that Mangrove Key is bigger than New Providence. Okay, so that gives you a perspective to how big Andros is. Okay, it's also, as you can see here, the 3rd largest living organism in the world is next to Andros, the Barrier Reef, and the capital is Nicholastown. Next, please. Someone mentioned the blue holes, and I was so grateful for her acknowledging that Andros has the most blue holes in the Bahamas. And this was so nostalgic for me. One of the blue holes in South Andros is named after my uncle, Uncle Charlie's blue hole. Okay, and she mentioned that persons internationally come to dive and see how deep, if they can get down to the bottom of these blue holes. So we may not have the most blue holes in the world, but the largest concentration of blue holes for the square miles that we cover. Okay, then we have Westside National Park, the most productive marine nursery in the Bahamas. It's a prime bonefish area, and persons pay thousands of dollars to come and fish bonefish in our beautiful waters. We also have the rock iguana there and the West Indian flamingo. So not just Inagua. Andros has some as well. Next. Yes, it is the bonefish capital. And we have lots of lagoons where you see the individuals kayaking. Unfortunately, there are no alligators or crocodiles to eat you after kayaking. That was very traumatic on the news, the lady. Next, please. Okay, this is Henry Morgan's cave, one of the pirates. Perfect pirate bluff. His cave is said to hold bounty. I don't know if anyone has found it. We're soliciting persons were soliciting individuals to go on trips. So, you know, a treasure hunt, perhaps. That should be interesting. Go to Henry Morgan's cave to see if any treasure is left there.
With the money rock.
Next, please. The Andros Barrier Reef, like we mentioned, a must-see natural wonder, the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world, plunging more than 6,000 feet into the tongue of the ocean. It is unique in the region because of its size, luxuriant coral growth, and the low incidence of coral disease. And if you're not aware, we are having a major problem with that in the Bahamas, with the death of...
Stony.
Pardon?
Stony coral tissue loss disease.
Yes, we're having a problem with that in the Bahamas where the corals are dying out. So they're actually growing corals on land to then relocate back into the waters. So when we have our native corals growing well, we need to take care of them. So we have them for the next generations to enjoy if Jesus delays his coming. Next, we have the aragonite. And, you know, I mean, Nassau, but the Bahamas is just so blessed, and we have so much natural resources that are not tapped in or not available to the masses, you know, like Sister Joan mentioned with the castorilla, but this is another huge money-making industry right here, aragonite. This is so small. Aragonite has various industrial applications, including soil conditioner, animal feed, the production of calcium, a type of limestone, and it's a significant natural resource in the Bahamas. Okay.
Of course, many of us know, which part of Andros again, Sister Adley, where we have the Androsia factory? Fresh Creek, which is in North Andros. Thank you, Small Hope Bay to be exact. And you know the beautiful fabrics. I saw some of you sporting them today. Stand if you're wearing one of the fabrics from our beautiful island. Next, please. Oh, there it is, the beautiful Androsia. Okay, so when I saw this, the handicraft, I just learned a really nice fun fact. The history of these handicraft and straw weaving can be dated as far back as the native back what are the Indians called? Seminoles, thank you, who migrated to Red Bay, Andros from Florida. So what happened, the American government was taking over all of the lands, and so they didn't want to be put back into slavery, so they came over into the Bahamas, and this is some of the handicraft that they made. And also another fun fact, the Red Bay, so not only Eleuthera with pink sand, but Red Bay get its name from the reddish sand found in the natural bay. Oh my Andros. Okay, the Bahamas also has two rivers located in Andros. You know Andros is known for fresh waters, right? So we have the River Goose, and then next we have the River Lees as well. Okay, going again. A little folklore. We know about the Chickcharney, thank you. Oh, I appreciate an audience who is just with me and assisting and helping with my heavy tongue. So what's the name of it again? Chickcharney. Chickcharney.
Chickcharney.
It is about 90 centimeters tall and has it's said to be some owl-like creature. It has 3-pronged arms and legs. I guess the limbs, not the arm, it's not 3 arms, but the fingers and toes or paws, whatever, and bright red eyes. It's, according to some sources, it's said to also have feathers, and its head can turn up to 360 degrees. But we know it's only folklore. That's not true, okay? Moving along. Then we have the Andros barn owl. Locals in Andros Island sometimes associated with the barn owl. Thank you. And I said, if the good Lord didn't have to go on holiday, then tell me why he created Andros. Thank you.
Thank you. Very quickly, I know we see the sun. 2 people pop up and tell me something that you learned this evening that you didn't know before. Let's go, like popcorn. Andros has 2 rivers. Anyone else? I saw you pop up. Andros also has red sand. I mean, not just Andros, we love Andros. Anything else over the course of the evening that you learned tonight that you didn't know? Okay. Yes, Cascarilla has to be done by hand. All right, but that brings us to the end of our Island Cultural Showcase. We do this every year, and y'all are still learning new things. Let's give all of our presenters and our family islands a round of applause. Are you proud to be Bahamian? Yes. All right. So as we bring our service to a close this evening, and we had such a lovely turnout. Thank you guys so much for coming. Let us stand up. We are able to we're able to do the whole church. Let's get into our circle for side by side we stand as we bring our service to a close. All right. Quickly, quickly, quickly. I know y'all are hungry. Straight around the back of the church, straight down by the double doors. We have plenty people. Spread out. Yes. All right. Side by side we stand, awaiting God's command.
So I'll meet you in heaven together, brothers and sisters. I'll be there. This ain't even on. This ain't even connected, probably. You know why they do that?
Just want to thank the AY and the Andrews people for an excellent program. It was truly a blessing. I learned a lot, and you guys put so much effort into your presentation. It was truly, truly informative, and we enjoyed it tremendously. Let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for the entire Sabbath that you gave us. From this morning, Sabbath school into the divine worship with Elder Wayne and the Word. We thank you for that. We thank you as well for the AY department and this program that they put on this evening to tell us more about our lovely country, this land that you have blessed. 52 years of independence, and we thank you for this nation. We know we have our challenges, dear Lord, but we are grateful for the blessings you have poured on our nation. We ask you to be with us as we continue to develop. Help us as your people, your remnant people, to share the love of Christ, to preach the message that you have put on our hearts and in our church to preach, so that we can help men and women, boys and girls, to be like the Hannah clan, to stand up for right, and to spread your word everywhere we go. Bless us now as we go into the social to celebrate some more our independence and our dependence on you. Bless us as we go into this new week as well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, so right now we'll be heading straight into our social. If you haven't left yet, I assume that's also what you're here for. Firstly, everybody who is parked on this side, can you kindly please either move your cars into the grass or behind the church so we have an open space. Also, I hope y'all already went to the ATM.